Hello everyone, this is Space Marine with an in-depth crypto market analysis for June 15th, 2022. And before I jump into it, since this is my first crypto video on this channel, I'm actually quite an expert at crypto. I've been in it since 2013, closely monitoring all the market movements. I've done lots of trades. I've worked at Crypto IQ and Bitcoin News, written thousands of articles. So I've been analyzing the market for crypto like for many years, every angle of it. And since this is the first video I'm putting on the channel, there's a lot to unpack all at once. So I'll just cover some really big and important things that could help people. So first off, as everyone knows in the crypto world, Bitcoin is going down. Right now it's at 21,000, and there just broke a level as we talked. It's below 21,000, and this is about as low as it's been so far in this crash. It's gone maybe down to 20,500. I don't think the crash is quite done yet though. But yeah, anyways, here we could see the all-time high. It was around $68,000. It was over 6 months ago now. It was a bit ago, but it's gone all the way down to $21,000. And a lot of this has happened recently. So yeah, the past 30 days chart, basically. I mean, let's look at 3 months chart for more. Actually, 30 days shows it better. So on the 30 days chart, you can see it went down from like around $30,000, and then within a week, less than a week honestly, it's gone all the way down to $21,000. Rapid bear market. And what's causing this in the short term, or we're going to talk about the long-term things causing this, and then what's going to happen. The short-term reasons is, first off, there was Luna. So that's like what really started to kick it off. It caused Bitcoin to drop from like, it was around 40,000, then it started to drop towards 30,000 when this happened. But yeah, Luna was a major cryptocurrency. It had like a price of $115 at one point. And actually, let's get the market cap on here. The market cap was like $40 billion. And it literally dropped to nothing, like so quick. And they made a new, this is called Luna Classic now. I can't like put it in the screen, but yeah, this is called Luna Classic. But this is the actual Luna. And then they airdropped a new version of Luna to try to salvage the situation, and they call this Luna Classic. But this really is Luna. This is the actual Luna, the Luna Classic. And it's like almost zero right now. It's become just a thing bots trade, and like everyone that invested in it lost. There was all sorts of crazy posts. Like, I don't even want to go into it, but people were like suicidal over how much they lost on Luna. It was really bad. And it kind of kicked off a chain reaction, because the next shoe to drop was Celsius. So Celsius is basically kind of like a crypto exchange slash bank slash like lending platform where people earn interest for like keeping their coins in stake by lending it to other people or whatever. And Celsius just like closed like suddenly a few days ago, and that's what caused this like really rapid downdraft from like 30,000 to 20,000. So that's the reason for this part of the chart basically. But zooming out, overall, basically there's a chain reaction going on in the crypto space of defaults, and it's just like the regular economy where, and we might talk about this a little, but that's really for another episode of this channel, where like in a regular economy, if the stock market starts going down a lot, and securities start going down a lot, some securities start to default, and then some corporations and banks which held that securities, like some smaller banks, some smaller corporations, they default because they held that security that defaulted, and so on and so forth, and it leads to a chain reaction where corporations are going down and banks are going down. Well, that's kind of the equivalent of what's going on right now. So like Luna went down at a point where already the market was like going down for a while. So like here's the 6 month chart. Bitcoin was going down, going down, going down. So basically, any firms that were holding crypto have lost a lot of money since the peak at 68,000, and then Luna went down like rapidly. It was like a default, like a securities default of sorts. And then Celsius got impacted by that because they tried to get all involved in it. I don't know the exact specifics. They are out there. I'm not saying they're unknown. But basically Celsius got like intimately tied in with Luna. And then now Celsius has gone down. They're not necessarily down forever, but they've definitely destroyed their platform and their integrity and the value of their coin. And I mean, this seems like it was a long time coming. Like back in May 2021, that's when it peaked at like $7 per coin. Let's look at the market cap. Like, how serious was this? Yeah, only $1.8 billion market cap. But anyways, it's not really about this coin particularly. It's like the whole platform and all the people using it, all the funds in it are like unlocked right now. But yeah, Celsius has gone down to like nothing. Basically, it actually had a little rally today. You can't see this off the corner of the screen, but it's like up 60% in the past 24 hours, but it's like after going to nothing. So anyways, yeah, so we had Luna go down. Then we had Celsius go down, and there's probably more things that'll go down. People need to be extra careful in this time to invest their money in the right exchanges, like not in the exchange itself, but I'm talking about like put their money in the right places, because in past bear markets, crypto exchanges and things like that and other services have gone down. And the overall reason for this is basically a lot of firms run on a fractional reserve. It's kind of like Mt. Gox. I bet any crypto person pretty much knows about Mt. Gox unless they're really new. So Mt. Gox was the first crypto exchange, the first Bitcoin exchange. It got really, really big, but they got hacked a few times. Maybe some money was laundered or embezzled out of it. And then that was all good as long as Bitcoin was rising, because if Bitcoin was rising, then the exchange had enough funds to like cover everyone because Bitcoin was gaining so much money. But then once Bitcoin starts going down, any business that has a fractional reserve will suddenly not have enough money to keep operating, not enough money to for people to withdraw, stuff like that. So that's kind of what happened with Celsius. It's happened all throughout crypto history. And a chain reaction of defaults can kind of be expected. And as we see in the chart for like 30 days, just Celsius going down. I mean, there's other factors at play here, but like just Celsius going down really initiated this $10,000 drop. And we can kind of just like assume that there will be more firms that had like a fractional reserve that probably will go down. I'll say God forbid. Hopefully, no one loses anything. None of that happens. But, it's likely that there'll be more big downdrafts. That's what I call it, because I'm a weatherman too. I'm a grid meteorologist. So, yeah, it's a downdraft. And that's how bear markets are, by the way, overall. Like, when you're in a bear market, like, it's steady for a while, but then suddenly there's, like, a rapid event where it just goes down, like, really quick. And we've just saw this now with the Celsius saga and other things going on, too. It's not just Celsius. We saw this rapid drop of, like, 33% in Bitcoin or so. And that'll probably happen again another time or two during the bear market. And then in between, it could be steady. And Bitcoin could even rise a lot during the bear market at some points and then go back down. But basically, during the bear market, the overarching theme is like, since crypto has gone down so much, it causes like these defaults and these things to go down. And that leads to like a rapid plunge in prices due to panic and such. So yeah, Bitcoin's at $21,000 right now. I might call for a long time, and you guys might not believe me since this is my first video, but I've been calling for Bitcoin to hit $15,000 for a long time. I've been calling for that since the peak, even like over 6 months ago. And maybe I'll get my friends to come on this show at some point to confirm that. But I've been advising my friends and people I know, people I talk to, that Bitcoin probably will go down to $15,000. It's not an exact call. Nothing is exact with these things. But yeah, we're already at $21,000. More like crypto defaults are likely, and it's not just that. The global economy is just so bad. That's another reason it's going down so much right now too. As people might be aware, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is just like getting killed. It's down 17% year to date, so that's in about 6 months or so total. It's down that much, and a lot of it's been recently over the past month. It went from 33,000 on the Dow Jones down to like where it is now at 30,000. So just like that's actually in the past week. So it's down 10% in a week. And a lot of the reason for that, and we're going to get into some macroeconomics now briefly, because it all ties into crypto. You can't see the whole title here, but like quantitative tightening begins June 1st. What is quantitative tightening? So just like there's money printing, they call it quantitative easing, quantitative easing, whatever you want to call it. That's basically money printing. That's the fancy word for it. Quantitative tightening is the opposite. They're deleting money. And that means the money they printed into circulation by like giving out the bonds to the banks, however the Federal Reserve does it with treasuries and whatever, to inflate the money supply and bail out the economy. That means they're taking it back. And not only that, they're raising the Fed funds rate. In fact, today, Wednesday, it's like early morning Wednesday, but today's a big day. The Fed is expected to raise the rates by at least 50 basis points, if not like 75 or 100 basis points. We'll see what happens with that. That will massively affect crypto today, by the way. And that the decision usually comes out after markets close, like 4 or 5, 6 p.m. or something. But yeah, once that decision hits, it could be expected that there'll either be a huge rally in stocks and crypto or like a bigger crash. And usually in the past, it's been like the Fed is not as strict as people thought they would be. But things are kind of changing now. I guess we're getting all the way into the macroeconomics. All right, so the quantitative tightening, the reason they're doing this is because the dollar is basically it's inflating and approaching hyperinflation. the prices of everything are going up. You could see this for yourself in real life. There's like the prices of food, the prices of gas. I mean, gas is kind of like not just because of inflation, it's also because like they stopped drilling and stuff as much. Not to get into that whole topic, but anyways, the dollar is losing value, consumer purchasing power is dropping, and the Fed has a decision to make. Are they going to let the dollar collapse and continue to print lots of money and keep the interest rates near zero so banks and corporations can just take out free loans and free money? Or are they going to like stop the low interest rates and delete the money they printed and let the dollar thrive and get way stronger at the expense of the market? Well, the answer is clearly in my opinion. If the Fed let the dollar collapse, or if the government let the dollar collapse, because it's all one and the same, really, America would lose its power. America would lose the entire empire it has. They're not letting that happen. And this already happened once before in history, back in the Great Depression. So, yeah, the dollar is likely to be priority number one. The dollar will strengthen over time. And that's going to be at the expense of the entire market. So that's kind of like why the market's been going down so much this week as the Fed meeting and decision approaches today, Wednesday, because the Fed is like 100% expected to back up the dollar by raising interest rates and continue quantitative tightening. And that will really, really hurt the markets. And yeah, the markets are likely to go into a full blown collapse over time. It's just starting now, and it could get a lot worse. I mean, we saw in 2008. I'll go to the max here on the chart. 2008, the Dow Jones was trading around like 13,000, 14,000, dropped like to like even lower than this, even lower than what the chart shows, because it's such a long term chart. You can't see like the actual bottom, but it dropped by like 50% even on this chart, and even more in real life. And that could easily happen now. So like the Dow Jones peaked at 36,000. It could go down below 20,000. It could go even further because basically the Fed can't print more money or the dollar would just totally collapse. So they can't bail out the economy. If they could, they would be doing it right now. If we were at the point like we were a year or two ago where they could print a lot of money, bail out the stock market and the banks and the corporations, they would be doing it, but they just can't because the dollar is at its limit. It's already inflating a lot, and the dollar will collapse unless they take drastic measures now to strengthen the dollar and end this inflation thing. So that's what they're doing. They're choosing to save the dollar, the American empire, and the America's power overall. So yeah, that's what's going on with that, and basically stocks are going down really quick, and this ties intimately into crypto. So as stocks go down, as you see here, basically there was a lot of Wall Street investment, a lot of hedge funds, and investors in general putting their money in crypto, and that helped drive crypto like up, like back during the rally. Let's see, like, so when was this rising? It was rising a lot in like 2020, 2021. Guess what else was rising? Bitcoin. Let's go to that chart. Yeah, so basically, yeah, Bitcoin was rising a lot right there. And this is like 2020, 2021. And it was simultaneous with the stocks going up. And basically investors were throwing a lot of money into Bitcoin and crypto and stuff. And now as the stocks go down, as hedge funds and Wall Street firms are desperate for liquidity and cash, they are selling off a lot of crypto too right now, in order to just get the cash and to cover their other debts that they're getting because the whole market's collapsing. So there's an intimate tie between Bitcoin and crypto and the stock market, but I don't think that tie is going to last the way it is for long either. And we're going to get into that now. So yeah, I talked about how Bitcoin could easily go to $15,000, and I actually got some charts I want to talk about that first, but just to stay on the point, what's going to happen overall? Well, just for example, you can't see the whole title again, but it says giant hedge fund goes Soros on Bank of Japan, bets billions at Japan, and MMT will break. So basically, MMT is kind of like the way they've been running the economy with printing lots of money, lowering the rates to zero, in order to keep the stock market afloat. And in Japan, it's going to crap right now, basically. Let me see what the best chart is to use here. So basically, like, the Japanese yields are kind of getting out of control. And the yield goes up when like investors have less confidence buying like government bonds. So they demand a higher interest rate. And the government really needs to keep the yields under control and keep them low. But in this case, Japan can't keep them low without printing lots of money. And Japan's in a very similar situation to the US, except much different in the sense that Japan Like basically, like their yields are going out of control, so they're forced to print lots of money, but their currency is at the very limit of what it can handle. It's inflating a lot. Let me see. I think there's a yen chart in here somewhere. Yeah, here's the yen. It's just losing tons of value relative to the dollar. On top of the dollar losing tons of value too. So like the yen's really hyperinflating because the Bank of Japan has to print tons and tons and tons of money to try to keep the situation under control. But as they do that, the currency is going to collapse, and like they don't have a recourse like the United States does. The United States is kind of controlling the whole global economy, which is why they are going to keep the dollar strong. That's another reason. Like other countries, like don't have any recourse, and they're going to be like Japan. They're just like their currency is going to collapse. But the U.S. does have that power, and that's why the U.S. will choose to strengthen the dollar because that's what gives them the power over the whole world. Well, I mean, of course, God has the power over the whole world, but I'm just talking about economics here, not to be too dramatic. So, anyways, yeah, so the yen is likely to collapse, and this article is actually about how like people are throwing in like hundreds of billions of dollars to bet against the Bank of Japan. They're shorting Japanese bonds, so that'll make it even worse. And like Japan will have to print more and more money to like keep it under control, and the yen will just kind of collapse, or the whole economy will collapse one way or another. It's like there's no choice. And Japan's just one example, one frightening example, because they're a major developed economy. But like this has been going on around the world, in like Lebanon and like let me think of a few other examples. Zimbabwe. Like there's been some smaller countries where this happened years ago already, but now it's starting to happen in like bigger countries. And I mean, honestly, I think pretty much every country's currency besides the U.S. will pretty much collapse. So, just for Japan, for example, what do you think the people in Japan are going to do? As the yen collapses, they're probably going to buy a lot of crypto. And there are very strict crypto regulations in Japan, and that's another side of the coin, if you will. Basically, if a country senses that its currency is collapsing, they will put really strict crypto regulations to try to stop people from buying crypto so they keep their money in the fiat currency. So it's not so easy to buy crypto in Japan. I think they kicked out most of their exchanges, if not all of them, something like that. But no matter what, if there's a currency collapse, the billionaires and millionaires and even the regular people will find a way to buy Bitcoin. And we saw this with Hong Kong, like in Hong Kong, like a couple years ago. It was like something like a couple years ago. China took over Hong Kong, like for real. And the Hong Kong economy was like doing really bad, and China was like taking control, and people in Hong Kong were worried that China was going to take all their money, and they probably did. But a lot of people laundered their money into like crypto and Bitcoin, even though it was against like the rules, in order to get their money out of Hong Kong. And that's just a one city, a small example. In Japan, we could see a massive exodus of capital into Bitcoin. So even though we have these downdrafts, like we talked about, Bitcoin going down like $10,000 all at once because like something defaulted in the crypto space, we could see updrafts like that too. And for this reason, capital flight from countries where the fiat currency is failing, and also mass crypto adoption. I don't think this bear market's going to last that long either. I think it's a good time for people to jump in even now. I mean, by the way, I'm not trying to give financial advice for you to trade on. I'm just trying to give you my knowledge, not telling you what to do. And yeah, I'm not going to give exact trading advice either, like that. But anyways, yeah, in the past, bear markets have lasted like a really long time. Like we would see downdrafts like this, and then it would just stay kind of like this, like steady, and then drop again, and then that would last for a year or two. And it's a really long bear market in the past because people would be questioning, is crypto going to survive? Because it was still a much smaller ecosystem, way less people were using it. There was way less companies. The companies that were there were way smaller. Now we have huge firms in the crypto space itself, like Binance and KuCoin and all these other Coinbase. So there's huge firms in the crypto space. Number one. Number two, yeah, like there's this mass adoption. It's not a question if crypto's going to die. Everyone knows it's going to come roaring back. So for all these reasons, one second, I need to plug in my computer. I'm glad the cord's right here. So for all these reasons, I don't think the bear market's going to last very long. Plus, what we talked about with like Japan and like the currency collapse, and currency collapses are likely all around the world. And even in the U.S., like where the dollar is not going to collapse, but there's going to be like mass economic problems. People will be funneling their money into crypto. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So basically, first, there's mass adoption of crypto. It's a way bigger space. It's not going to die no matter what. So the bear market's not going to last as long due to that. Also, there's going to be massive spikes. Just like these downdrafts where it goes down due to a default in a crypto firm, it's going to go up like really quick when like a billionaire starts laundering money from Japan into Bitcoin to save their wealth. And there's gonna be like stuff like that happening all around the world where people are putting their money in Bitcoin. It's gonna be a little inexplicable when it happens, but like there's gonna be big sharp rallies, and it's gonna take us right out of the bear market. Um, and then, yeah, what was my third point that I was about to jump into? Getting way ahead of myself. Well, I forgot for now on that one. But yeah, that's the point I wanted to make. Yeah, crypto's going to go down as the stocks crash. I mean, it's guaranteed the stock market's going to keep going down pretty much. The Fed is not going to reverse course in general. Like Wednesday, maybe they'll raise it 50 basis points instead of 75 or 100, and we'll see a rally tomorrow in crypto. Yeah, that's quite possible, but long term, like stocks are going to keep going down because there's not going to be a stimulus or bailout or like the Fed funds rate going down. This is it. The market's going to have to adjust to a natural level because it's been unnatural and stimulated like crazy. So yeah, stocks are going to likely keep going down, but I think well before the stock market crash is done, and relatively soon, sometime in the next few months even, Bitcoin's going to start rising a lot, and like as people funnel their money into it to escape failing currencies, and then that's going to. Oh yeah, here was the third point I forgot. So basically, as global assets melt, stocks, all sorts of equities and stuff, as all that goes down, and then Bitcoin starts to rise a lot as people funnel their money into it to escape the catastrophes, that's going to lead to a chain reaction because people will see, okay, stocks are going down, all these equities, all these securities are going down, everything's going down, but Bitcoin's going up. Let's throw our money in Bitcoin. And like so, the Wall Street will even start throwing their money back in at that point, especially because the prices will be lower. And yeah, like I think there's all these factors coming together. 1 second. There's all these factors coming together. It's like a perfect storm for a massive Bitcoin rally. Even though the economy is gonna be horrible, like even if the global economy is melting, like it's all coming together for a Bitcoin rally. It was almost like Bitcoin was meant for this moment where like all the currencies are collapsing around the world basically, and we have the global economic meltdown that can't be stopped because there's no more stimulus availability at all. So yeah, that's kind of like what's happening, and I guess now I'll move into the next point. Well, first about Bitcoin, yeah, I think it could go down to 15K. There could be some more downdrafts as the chain reactions keep happening with defaults in the crypto world, companies going down and such. It could go down to 15K. It could even go lower technically. Maybe I was analyzing the long-term chart, and it was like from like here's the 2017 2018 rally from like peak to trough. It's like an 80% drop, and let me see if I can zoom in on the earlier. Not really. Well, it's kind of like off to the side, but like that 2014 rise, 2013 or so rise, it was also 80% peak to trough. And if this was 80% peak to trough, it would be like around $10,000-$15,000 for the bottom. We're already getting close to there. And I think Bitcoin will go to hundreds of thousands of dollars, by the way. And I'm not just saying that to hype up Bitcoin. Like I have a stake in it. It's not like that. I really, really think the conditions are coming together now. We don't need a block halving this time for anything to move major. It's going to just move major because of all the reasons I just listed. So yeah, Bitcoin might go down to like 10 or 15K. Let's say 15K. And then it's probably going to start to rocket like crazy. And it's not going to be like a years long bear market. In fact, bear markets don't last that long. Like this bear market back in 2017 only lasted for like a year or so. It was like a year from like the peak to the bottom. And then it started to rise after that. And we're already actually technically, like, let's say we take the peak as April 2021. It's already past that now. But if we take the peak as the second peak over here, as October 2021, that a year from then is like October 2022, and it's like a few months away. So I think we're actually pretty close to seeing the bottom. It's a lot closer than people think. Everyone thinks bear market, oh, years and years of, at least like 1 or 2 or 3 years of going down, and it's not going to go up. I think we're only... It might be sooner even that it starts going up like crazy. And next cycle, this is like going to be a big cycle. It'll go over 100,000, like guaranteed. I'm like 100% sure. Just my opinion, but like seriously. Maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars per Bitcoin, and everything else will go up like insane too. But be careful, some of these cryptos might like disappear like Luna did, like Celsius is trying to. I don't think Celsius will totally disappear. And I guess Luna didn't either. It's still technically there. This is worth nothing compared to what it was. Anyways, just now I'm going to go over some coins that are really good. And believe it or not, Dogecoin has like really good potential. And in order to show Dogecoin's potential, let's look at like Litecoin, which is also a really good one. So we see Litecoin's gone up to like $400 back in like 2017. And then it went up to like the same thing back in like the big rally where Bitcoin hit $60,000. So if it was like Bitcoin, it would have went to like thousands of dollars, but it's not. It just went back to the all-time high around like $400 or so. And then if you look at let's see, Ethereum. Well, no, let's look at Monero. Monero is also like that. By the way, I really like Monero. It's like the only real stealth anonymous cryptocurrency. I think it has huge potential and it'll be valuable very long term. Always valuable. So yeah, like it hit like almost $400 back then in 2017, almost $400 back in 2021. So like the peaks between the cycles were like the same. It like hit the all-time high, but it didn't go way beyond like Bitcoin did. Now, if we look at Ethereum, it's a little better because, okay, let's scroll down a little here. 1 second. All right, so like Ethereum hit like over $1,000, like $1,500 back in like that big cycle in 2017, 2018. And then it had a way bigger cycle, over $4,000, like I think maybe $5,000 or so. So Ethereum showed that pattern of basically it had a way bigger jump when Bitcoin had a way bigger jump, and it more followed Bitcoin's path. And that's also why Ethereum's really good, obviously, because Ethereum's like the blood and backbone of like a really huge ecosystem of coins. Like hundreds of coins depend on it. It's like huge in all sorts of aspects. So Ethereum's great. But like the ultimate, believe it or not, is Dogecoin. This is actually a log chart. Let's look at the regular chart. So Dogecoin's peak in like 2017 was like below a cent, or like around a cent. It was like 1 cent or so. And then Dogecoin freaking hit like 70 cents. In 2021, it had like the most ultimate rise. The only thing I can compare it to, like Bitcoin's on a log chart here. Let's take it off. So Dogecoin, like Bitcoin, let's make it, yeah. In fact, Dogecoin's even more dramatic than Bitcoin. And Dogecoin's actually, even though like it's a meme currency, like it has a huge community, it's decentralized, limited supply. It's not like being printed or controlled by any centralized organization. And it just has that potential. And right now it's around 5 cents, and I think it's gonna go back all the way up and more. So yeah, Dogecoin's really awesome. It's like the most dramatic of all the coins. Like the dramatic thing is good. That means each cycle goes up more and more and more. And yeah, Dogecoin has like the ultimate ingredients. So yeah, I really like Dogecoin. And like I said, also Litecoin, Ethereum, Monero, those are all really good. And of course, Bitcoin. Bitcoin's gonna go up a lot. And so yeah, that's basically what I had to say today. I think it's a good time to be accumulating crypto. Not all the time, because like right now it's at 21. Like if someone hasn't bought around this level yet, they should, I guess. I mean, I'm not supposed to give trading advice. I'm not. I don't know if there's anything against that on YouTube. But anyways, I think it's a good time to accumulate around here. But then it's good to wait too to see if it goes lower. It might go to like 20,000. It might go to like 19, then 18, then 17. Then at each level, it's good to accumulate some of the major cryptos, basically, in my opinion. So yeah, it's like a real opportunity because like it's all throughout Bitcoin's history. Whenever it's dropped, it's always gone back to the all-time high and way more. And crypto is basically on sale right now, so it's all a really good thing. And like I talked about, I don't think this bear market has much longer to go. Maybe a few months at the most. Even if the whole global economy is completely going to tatters and it's like Great Depression style, God forbid, I think Bitcoin will start going up during that time. Anyway, it might get hit hard at first, like it is, but it's gonna start rallying like crazy. Like all the ingredients are right, especially for Bitcoin. Like some of these other things like Terra, Luna, Celsius, where they're centralized, they're not much better than the regular economy. But Bitcoin itself and these other decentralized major cryptos like Dogecoin, Monero, Litecoin, and Ethereum, like they're going to go up a lot as people flee out of fiat currencies and the burning global economy. All right, so I guess this ran pretty long. But yeah, if you listened here, thanks for listening, and I hope you learned a lot. And I'll continue to update. It might not be every day, but as major things happen, I think I'll be throwing an update up on my channel. So like and subscribe if you like crypto analysis and you want some of my thoughts. Yeah, I mean, I have years of experience, and I'm just trying to bring it forth to help people to better ascertain the crypto market. All right, everyone, have a good one.